This is 91.3 FM, WCOW in Worcester, Massachusetts, the Dr. Chris Radio of Horror program. Tonight on Radio of Horror, we have calling in to us to talk a little bit about the Women in Horror Month, as well as the Oscars and a whole bunch of other wacky movie reviews and news and stuff like that. We have the site author of theblondeinfront.com, Catherine, on the show with us. Thank you for calling into the show with us. Catherine Glidewell.
Yes, hi.
Hi, how are you?
Great. How are you doing?
I'm getting over the flu.
Yeah, I could hear that. Oh, no.
I found your website on the, I believe you have a WordPress, and that's how we got linked together, because I have a WordPress too, for the Radio of Horror show site.
Blonde in Front is on WordPress, yes.
Thoughts of a lifelong cinephile. And you put that as the blonde in front, as you being a blonde yourself, and do you always sit in the front row of the movie theater?
I usually sit in the first 5 rows of the movie theater, but it's the irony of that is when I started the Blonde in Front, I actually sat in the front row more than any other time I've ever sat in the front row of a movie theater in my entire life last year. So there you go. Dreams do come true, you know. Put it in print and it happens.
Why the front row?
Well, the reason why I was sitting in the front row a lot is I was not coming in early enough to sit in the other rows. Oh. And I tend to sit closer to the front to get rid of the riffraff for people talking or stuff like that, because the theater is definitely my holy place, my church, and, you know, I like to go there, and I don't like people to talk or be on their phones or anything like that. And usually it's better when you're in the first few rows, because people kind of can see what you're doing more, and there's less talking. And that's one of my biggest pet peeves, is talking in the theater.
When did you start writing film reviews and getting into doing that sort of thing and creating your blog?
I started my blog December of 2016, but I've been writing film reviews since like 1989, and really writing reviews more on social media and stuff like the past 5 years. And then people have been telling me to write a blog for, a while now. So I finally did it, and it's been going great.
You've been writing reviews since 1989. Wow, but you look so young. You had to have been writing them right out of the womb.
I will say yes on that, so sure.
I was 9 years old in 1989, so my first film review would have been like probably like Ghostbusters 2 or 1989's Batman.
Well, you know, I actually got my nephew started on film reviews, doing video reviews, and my nephew, who was 6, did one on the Oscar-nominated shorts, and it was actually pretty good. So I'm trying, and my 3-year-old nephew did one regarding Escape from Planet Earth. So, you know, start him young. I've been talking about films like forever. My friends and patients ask me about movies all the time, and what they should see and what they shouldn't see, what they should look out for, if they should see it in the theater or wait till it comes out on DVD and stuff, and things that, you know, can have triggering effects to them. And it's been really great. I don't feel like I'm helping the world out, but at least helping 1 or 2 cinephiles at a time.
Your patients, you're a physician?
No, I work for a physician.
So when they get done seeing the doctor and they need something to help recuperate after surgery or something, you're like, you should go watch Airplane because it will tickle the funny bone, or you've got a lot of anger, go watch Friday the 13th and get rid of your mommy issues.
Not quite. I would say mommy issues would be probably more Psycho, but not quite. But a lot of people like know what I do and know that I like to watch movies and go to the movies and screenings and film festivals. So they always ask me like what they should watch and stuff, and it just becomes, you know, a point of conversation. And I tell them to, you know, go to my blog or go to the Facebook or Instagram or YouTube and look at my video reviews.
Do you find it easier to write the reviews or do a video blog about them on YouTube?
I've found that I mean, kind of both. You definitely can, like, I just saw Annihilation, and there's so much that I can say about that film. But to make sure I get it out quickly, I do the 1 minute video review, which really you have to, it's hard to condense so much information sometimes into a film in 1 minute. But I had a circumstance where I wrote a beautiful review, just in my own opinion. Loved it. It was great. I, had all these amazing facts about it, and I went to post it and it disappeared. Like something happened with my computer. So that's when I started the video reviews, just to at least get it out there, get my thoughts out there really quickly, and then back it up with a written form.
You said 1 minute video reviews. Are you talking about using what is it called? Stardust?
No, I don't know what Stardust is. What is that?
Stardust is an app connected to, I believe, every single film or TV series that is on IMDb, and this includes foreign and domestic movies, independent films, and porn. So you can basically do a review about anything within a minute on the app with your face on it. The film shows up in the lower left-hand corner, mostly a poster, and you just do a minute review of it.
Well, holy heck. This is brand new information that I've not been made aware of. So I shall probably be doing Stardust sometime soon. I was doing minute reviews because they worked well with Instagram. And it's just a quick review to try and get people's attention and just keep it going so they don't click on to the next thing. So that's why I was just trying to get them done in a minute.
Yeah, you don't need to really, excuse me, sorry, link it to anything specifically, but you get about less than a minute to get FaceTime on your little camera, on your little phone, or your tablet, and then you spill your guts about, like I opted, instead of seeing Annihilation this weekend, I went and saw Game Night because I knew Annihilation was going to be like all like super sci-fi and somewhat like adventurous, and also what also looked like really, I don't know, an emotional roller coaster. And I needed Game Night to have a much better experience at the movies this weekend.
Well, you made a good choice because Game Night I saw Tuesday, and then I saw Annihilation Wednesday, and both of them are on my leaderboard for favorite films of the year.
But then I also have films on there like Army of Darkness, because it's the 25th anniversary, Night of the Living Dead, Bride of Frankenstein, The Time Machine, The Lost World, Canaries, Skull Island, the new Hellraiser, Victor Crowley, The Gate, Superman the movie, because it's the 40th anniversary of Christopher Reeve's opus. So films like that.
Oh, nice. Well, yeah, no, I'll definitely have to check out Stardust and check out your reviews on Stardust.
What are some of the publications that you write reviews for?
World of Death.
What's that?
Through Bloody Disgusting.
What's that?
What?
What's that?
World of Death shows a myriad of short horror films from around the world, and it's its own entity, and then they showcase those horror short films to the masses that possibly would not have been able to see them. Like I just reviewed one for World of Death called Cabrito, that's from Brazil, which is like a mix of Baskin and what was it? It was like Baskin and Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. That was something. Yeah, the imagery and the effects on that. It was very subtle and a slow burn, but then when it got to the gut punch, it really hit you. It was something, but it's been great. I've been running for them for a little over 6 months. I've been running for Geek Nerdery for over a year now. I wrote for Dr. AC Horror 101 for my one of my first interviews, and then I'll be writing for Nightmarish Conjurings and Boom Howdy very soon.
On your website, it has this number listed above Lifetime movies, 4,396. Is that seriously how many Lifetime movies you've watched?
Like Lifetime Network movies or movies I've watched in my lifetime?
Oh,
just kidding.
I meant Lifetime
no.
Network films.
No. No, I have not watched that many Lifetime Network films. I don't know if I can handle that much Nancy McKeon and Meredith Baxter Birney. But I would say that's how many movies I've seen in my lifetime, but I think that's an inaccurate number because I counted over 400 that I saw last year, and then I'm trying to do 700 this year by doing like at least 2 a day, which I think I'm going to surpass because I've already done like over 150 so far right now this year.
You've seen 150 movies this year alone in the 2 months of the year?
Yes.
Wow.
Well, when you go to a film festival, I mean, you could knock out 11 in a 48-hour time period. Like I saw 5 in one day. I saw 4 the first night that it started, like from 5 to midnight. And then, by that third, like, quote unquote day, which was within a 48-hour time period, I saw another 2. So that equaled 11. And I was supposed to actually see 12. I actually missed one. Or I missed the shorts, which I was really bummed about.
When I mention the Lifetime movies, it's only because I for the first time in my entire life in like 20 years, I watched a Lifetime movie like 3 years ago. And
Which one was it?
it was the James Franco produced vampire, lesbian, erotica, teen sex comedy remake of a Tori Spelling movie from the 90s.
Oh, Mother, May I Sleep with Danger?
Yeah, which in the original, Tori Spelling is a girl who brings a guy home that mom finds out is a serial killer. In the remake,
Yes.
Tori Spelling is now the mother, and her daughter comes home and is not only a lesbian, dun dun dun, but she's also dating a vampire, dun dun. And the vampires want to induct her into their cult of evil, Satan-worshipping, more like into sex and stuff than drinking blood, but whatever, to each your own, how do you write your vampire story. But it's produced by James Franco, who appears on the poster for the movie, like with his head above the water of blood with Tori Spelling. And then his part in the movie is he's the director of a play within the college, and he casts the lesbian daughter in the role of Macbeth.
Okay, I have seen a little bit of that. You had me at the the whole thing with the Macbeth thing.
Yeah.
I don't think I saw the full film, but I definitely remember that little bit of that part.
And like,
I
so
don't get it.
Macbeth all
I
of a
don't-
sudden becomes like this very lesbian-like play too, because Macbeth has all these scenes with all these women, but they don't change the genders of everyone in the cast. They just change the gender of Macbeth himself.
I mean, that's an interesting concept for Macbeth. I will give him that.
Yeah. Again, the whole thing comes across as being like, this is the worst thing ever written. James Franco, what the hell are you doing? Especially when you have like the guy that's into her goes from being the guy that doesn't quite understand that the girl he's after is a lesbian and that's totally okay because he doesn't see the signs, to, oh, look, he's pinning her down and trying to rape her now. And oh, the vampires induct him into their cult of evil vampire people instead of her, because her and the vampire lesbian run away together after mom is killed.
1, spoiler alert. 2, well, that sounds like a crappy cult if they'd rather induct the male, like, would-be rapists instead of the female who happens to be a lesbian. It's like, what kind of message is that sending the kids who are looking at Lifetime, which actually there probably aren't that many kids looking at Lifetime, but still, what kind of message is that sending to everyone?
I don't think the cult's very gender biased. They just happen to be all women, and they're all into like, hey, we're gonna use rape as our way of getting what we want because vampires and that subject don't already go hand in hand enough as it is. Yeah, that's why I gave it away, because I was just like, avoid this film unless you really just want a good laugh. A laugh that's probably going to make you pull your, hair out of your head, but a good laugh.
Well, that's usually, you can sort of know there's going to be a good laugh when it's like, and from Lifetime, or a Lifetime made a Lifetime movie. It's like, there's usually going to be a good laugh with all that. And when they do like the V.C. Andrews movies, when they turn those books into movies, those are usually, well, I mean, you get a chuckle, but actually they aren't too bad. But
then Then I found out this past Halloween, a classic Disney movie was remade, which was once on the Disney's Wonderful World of Disney and usually played around Halloween every Sunday, called The Watcher in the Woods, starring Bette Davis, was recently remade with Angelica Houston in the role of Bette Davis, and the movie is directed by Melissa Joan Hart. Another staple of the Lifetime movie series.
Yes, she is.
Yes.
Yes, she is. She's been in a number of them too.
Yes.
There was an in the 90s there were definitely like 5 women who were, it's like Kelly Martin, Tracy Gold, Nancy McKeon, definitely Nancy McKeon, Meredith Baxter Burney, and Judith Light. It's
And
like if there was a, oh, and Tori Spelling.
yeah.
If there was a Lifetime movie, it was one of those actresses that was definitely starring in it. Thing is, I mean, most of those were based on like true stories, and it definitely was one of those things like, yeah, maybe I just won't ever like talk to people because these are horrible instances of people getting stalked, like their husbands, like murdering them, murdering their kids murdering their parents. It's like, oh my God, which it's become one of those things. Like, I feel like I'm in a Lifetime movie. When something goes bad in my life, I say that to coworkers and friends, and it's a laugh because we all know what that means.
When the worst example of this, we are just on a string of tangent of hating Lifetime, but it makes for good conversation. I have not seen this movie, To Watch in the Woods, but for anyone who's listening, this is a remake of a Disney Channel movie, Disney Sunday night movie. In the Disney Sunday night movie, the family moves into the house, and the blonde girl sees in the mirror another blonde girl who's got like a bandage wrapped around her eyes, and she's always reaching out to her through a mirror, and she's trapped in like this mirror dimension, and she's actually the daughter of Betty Davis's character, or in this case Angelica Houston's character, and she's gonna figure out a way to how to rescue her and get her out of the mirror dimension. But like it's just always terrifying to see this like bandage wrapped eyes girl reaching out from a mirror.
Yeah, no, that description sounds horrifying. Like, you're telling me this, I'm like, that sounds a little scary to me.
And it's a Disney movie.
Disney, like in 1978 or whenever I think it first came out.
That's okay.
But now it's Angelica Houston's like, oh my God.
That's okay. I'm really curious about what's going to happen now that Disney owns the Alien franchise. If we're going to continue seeing anus, vaginas, and penis-type shaped imagery in the walls by H.R. Giger now that Disney owns it.
I mean, you may, and there may be plush toys or even more plush toys that comes out of that. I know I own a little face hugger myself, and maybe now there's going to be. I know they make face huggers for dogs with like little cute faces on them, so maybe they'll make more face huggers for kids and name them like, here's like Blart or something like that. Face huggers and neomorphs, little baby neomorphs even too.
Or I'm just hoping maybe Disney will keep the Fox brand as their go-to to put out R-rated material such as like Deadpool or the Alien or Predator films, like they did with Touchstone Pictures for a time. Because let's face it, when they put out a Touchstone movie, like I believe Pretty Woman was a Touchstone film, but I might be wrong. But Who Framed Roger Rabbit definitely was, and Jessica Rabbit was sexing it up on stage every time she walked on screen. So when you have a thing like Aliens, which is like this allegory for the madness of H.R. Giger's brain, I just don't see Disney obviously putting the House of Mouse logo on something like that.
I don't know. Disney can surprise you. I mean, it depends on who the studio chief is. Like, I think the way, they're obviously going to have Disney for Kids, which is going to be the forefront of how they make most of their money, but not necessarily now, because now you've got Star Wars, which, I mean, that's a moneymaker. And once they get into horror, I mean, I think they're just they've gotta, I don't know, for Disney to really capture horror, they almost need to have kind of like.
And Disney doesn't even really need Star Wars. They just need to keep making kitty cat movies that run their own country and run around in James Bond gear the entire time, right? Because that's the highest grossing thing Disney's put out lately. The kitty cat and his gadget of toys. It's basically, I don't know if you've seen it yet, but there's a parody comic strip of the Black Panther done up to look like Felix the cat, and he's got his like little Wakandian bag, like Felix would have his little magic bag of tricks, and anything Felix would pull out of there would help him along his missions in whatever cartoon he's happened to be in. And it's the same thing with the Black Panther. He just needs his bag of tricks by Q, I mean his sister, and he can come
Yeah.
up with anything he needs to accomplish the mission he's on. And that's obviously going to happen when he has to go up against a demigod like Thanos in the upcoming Avenger film.
Which I'm very much looking forward to.
Yep, you don't have to wait long for Wakanda to take center stage once again, as if you watch the trailer, Wakanda is very much center stage in that trailer, especially at the end shot when the Avengers are running towards the camera with Cap and the Black Panther and the Hulk and War Machine and Black Widow and Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Michonne from The Walking Dead. I don't really remember her real name, the General, but she's Michonne from The Walking Dead. I'm sorry. For anyone not realizing this, Michonne from The Walking Dead, that thing that she wears on her head is a piece, and she was probably more delighted to not have to wear something like that running around in the outdoors or film sets or whatever than she was when she is running around in Georgia sweating to death.
Yeah, I would think that would be very, very hot in Atlanta, especially during the summer. But I mean, God
Hey.
love her. She's one of my favorite characters, and I didn't actually even read it. I just saw something that it said Michonne may be leaving The Walking Dead, which I'm like, say it isn't so, but I didn't want to read it because that's gonna break my heart.
There's only one way you leave The Walking Dead.
Oh, I know. There's only one way, and usually you can't come back.
Nope. Unless, well, they are part of the Image universe, so I don't know, time reset or something.
Or flashbacks. There's always flashbacks, or alternate universes. Like, oh, what would happen if this had happened and stuff. But I don't know. Maybe they'll do that at the end, and it'll be some sort of like, this was all just a dream. He's still in the coma.
Yeah, I always say, well, the Walking Dead is part of the Image universe, and there was an issue with Savage Dragon where he was popping around dimensions, and he popped his head into a zombie-filled wasteland one time, and it looked very much like the Walking Dead. And he didn't stay in there for more than like a panel before he popped into another dimension. So
That's probably a wise choice.
I think it was just a sight on gag of the Savage Dragon touring around the Image universe, and because then he also popped into the Wanted universe, which was made into a movie. A really terrible movie, but still made into a movie a few years ago.
I have not seen that yet.
Don't ever watch that movie. For one big thing, that the character of Fox is supposed to be mostly based on a Halle Berry, and they cast Angelina Jolie as her.
Oh, wait. No, I have seen that because that was shot in Chicago. I actually saw Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt with all the kids when they were filming that. Yes. And James McAvoy's in that movie. Okay.
Yes.
I know what you're talking about.
James McAvoy is one of those terrible films he did before he decided to continue making good films like Atomic Blonde, and well, we'll wait and see on X-Men Phoenix.
With the what? The
X-Men Phoenix.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking forward to the the continuation of Split, because I know that's filming right now in Pittsburgh or Philadelphia, someplace like that.
Yeah, isn't that going to have more of a tie to The Unbreakable with Bruce Willis now in it?
Yes.
Yeah, so how Bruce Willis kicked the shit out of the split personality psychopath.
Yeah, with that and Anya Taylor-Joy, who I think is fantastic and who's really elevating young actresses with every role that she's taking. I'm looking forward to seeing what she's going to do with this and any other future endeavors that she decides to take on.
Is there one specific genre of film that you're super passionate about writing about, and what do you think of the Oscars coming up that I know you're covering?
Something I love writing about sci-fi and horror because I think it's always evolving and there's always a new door and a new avenue it can take. It just is ever changing. I'm really excited about the Oscars. I love that Get Out was nominated. I love that Shape of Water was nominated. I really wish that
I hope that wins.
some other what?
I hope The Shape of Water wins. Everything.
I honestly think it will win Best Picture.
I think Del Toro's time has come.
That it would get more. I wish Sally Hawkins would be getting more talk for her role in that movie because I know at a screening, one of her co-stars was saying like how involved and committed she was to that role, that she like actually made herself sick. And I don't think that enough people are talking about her role as a mute custodial, person in a secret government facility, because she's just great. She just conveys so much with her face, and everything she does in that role. But I know it's probably going to go to Frances McDormand, who is also amazing. This was a great year for female film roles. It's about goddamn time. Like, honestly, like they had a lot of women who could have been nominated. I'm okay with the ones they had. I would have chosen a few differently, but I think they have some amazing roles this year. But yeah, the fact that Get Out was my favorite movie of last year. It never ceased to fade from just the impact it had on me, and the fact that it's a psychological thriller and a horror film. But Shape of Water, I just think is just visually stunning. And I love the fact that you can tell that this is a film that's made by a filmmaker who loves movies. And you can see that in the film.
Del Toro made a big point saying that when he watched the original Creature from the Black Lagoon when he was a kid, he always wondered why the creature didn't get the girl. So he made damn sure he got her in more ways than we could possibly have fathomed someone would put into a movie.
Oh yeah. Well, I think, and it's something I was saying to someone recently. It's like the Shape of Water makes you think of like, who are the real monsters? It's not the scaly guy who, people like, oh, he's a monster. Like, is he? Because he shows much more empathy and kindness towards humans and different creatures than a lot of the humans do in that film. I mean, you've got Michael Shannon, who's just torturing people and is so intimidating, who's actually a sweetheart in real life. He's so nice and such a great guy. And it just impresses the hell out of me that he can do those roles where he just gets so uncomfortably close to people that you can see on their face, like, what is this guy doing? And I always wonder, like, when they rehearse that or if they're doing scenes, if he just, like, does a few takes and then we're like, okay, this is a take we're going to use. If he just gets right up in their face, it's like, oh, crap. Oh, man, because he's just a powerhouse and I can't wait. It's like, it's just a matter of time before he wins an Oscar because he's just amazing. But yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. Because I think Shape of Water asks, what if the creature from the Black Lagoon was actually the good guy? And who are the real monsters?
Come, son of Jor-El, kneel before Zod. I was expecting him to say something kind of like that, but no, we didn't. No, all right. There was a funny point. A couple people pointed out a couple things that the girl had gills on her neck, and that was kind of like too much of a giveaway. Also, there is Del Toro had mentioned something on. Oh, sorry, Doug Jones had mentioned something on Twitter about. Did you notice what the monster loved to eat the most? And I was like, no.
Eggs.
Well, no, but he also eats cats, and then he's into her, and I'm like, oh, Doug. Oh, Doug. Our listening audience can put two and two together. I'm not going to say anything out loud, but thank you, Doug Jones. This is why I love you.
Yeah, when he would be eating, there's only, and for anyone who hasn't seen it, it's only one instance where he eats a cat. He just doesn't know what it is. He's very sorry for it. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Alf.
Yeah, I was about to make an Alf joke.
Yeah. But he's very sorry and very remorseful after it happens. And I can't say that it's cute, but it's like, aw, like, I understand you made a mistake. But Doug Jones does such a phenomenal job as that monster. Like, I mean, the visual effects and the costume, and I guess he wore that 24/7.
Yikes.
When he was on set. And no one actually saw him like his real face and him outside that costume until after the film was done and they were doing like press junkets around. But he's committed. Like he does so many amazing just such an amazing job with all the films that he's been in, and one of my favorite episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, with the gentleman, has Doug Jones as one of those creepy eyes, and God, I mean, there's so many great things about The Shape of Water. I really hope it does win Best Picture because it totally deserves to.
And he deserves Best Director.
Yes,
And
by far.
I said that if he gets Best Director and Best Picture, I hope that because he's just so young right now, and this is his first nomination, so I don't think he'll win. But Jordan Peele, I hope, would then get at least maybe Best Screenplay for Get Out, because then he'll get that Oscar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I would love Jordan Peele to win something, but I don't. I'm sorry, but I just Del Toro is so much more deserving of that Oscar. He's been put through it a few different times and not come on top, and this is his time. This is his year.
I mean, right now, this is a very competitive year I mean, it's not like it hasn't been competitive before, but it's, especially with the screenplays, with adapted screenplays and original screenplays, like, that is a crapshoot. It is hard. Like, every single one of those are definitely like the front runners for that Golden Boy. But I would love Jordan Peele to get it for his screenplay for Get Out. Do I think he'll get director? No, not yet. I think it will go to Del Toro, and I think that Shape of Water will get Best Picture.
And since I just looked, they're not in the same category. If Peele was to get the adapted screenplay, I would love to go to Logan because, he's fucking Wolverine.
I think adapted screenplay, I think Martin McDonagh for, I believe that is 3 Billboards. I think he should get it for 3 Billboards.
I guess so. I'm sorry. I gotta put my tokens in the bucket of the crazy Canuck.
I mean, I know, but there are few scenes of dialogue in that are just so absolutely amazing that I remember watching it and thinking, like, this is definitely going to get an Oscar for screenplay, because that Irishman knows how to really write some Missouri people, and I don't even know if he's ever been to the state, but he does a damn fine job writing that dialogue. But yeah, I would love Get Out. Is he adapted or original for Jordan Peele?
Original. That's original,
isn't it?
Yeah, he's been holding on to that since Obama was president.
Yeah.
And he was gonna make it. He was like, he didn't want to make it because when Obama became president, he literally said on a podcast, "Racism doesn't exist anymore. We have a black president." Oh, Trump became president. All right, time to make that movie.
Yeah.
Or
exactly.
Trump's running for president. Let's get that movie made, because by the time Trump became president, a month later, that movie came out. And all these people were like, that were complaining that what's her name, Patty Jenkins, didn't get nominated for Wonder Woman, and such a strike against feminism, and women don't get nominated for anything. I'm like, okay, listen, shut the fuck up right now. Wonder Woman was a great movie, but that movie falls apart like every other superhero film in the third act, and that's what kills it in the Oscars, okay? Everything is great about about Gal Gadot, who played Wonder Woman, and for the most part, most of that script holds up, and the people surround her are fantastic, like the people who surround T'Challa, the Black Panther, but that movie falls apart in the third act, and that's why that movie is not the greatest thing in the world. Is it better than Ghostbusters? Abso-fucking-lutely. Okay, it's showing you how a female-led cast can be done correctly. Or like Ghostbusters, which was one bukkake joke right from the very first 5 minutes right into the very end of being this lovesick puppy shitfest of CGI, okay? That's my feelings on it.
Yeah, I mean, hey, let it out. My thing with Ghostbusters is that I didn't understand why these women who have worked together before, and even on, Saturday Night Live, had such amazing chemistry on those past projects they've worked on. And for some reason in Ghostbusters, I felt no connection with their characters towards each other. Like, the chemistry was just horrible.
Yeah.
And I didn't understand that.
Yeah.
And I love the director. I think he's done some great things. But
Has he?
Yeah, Bridesmaids is fantastic. The Heat is
Oh,
hilarious.
you. I'm sorry.
But
I just cannot watch anything with Melissa McCarthy. I think she is so unfunny and so annoying.
see, I think she's great, and I think she's a fantastic physical comedian. And I love how she drops those F-bombs like nobody's business and makes it funny. Like, I think she's great. But I just felt like, yeah, Ghostbusters, I I don't know. I wanted it to be, I mean, I love the cast, but I just didn't feel like there was that much chemistry with them. I definitely think that Kate McKinnon and Leslie Jones were the standouts. But yeah, it could have been much better. But back to the Oscars, I really wish that Betty Gabriel in Get Out, who played Georgina, would have been considered for Best Supporting Actress because she did such a great job playing Georgina as the maid slash grandmother. Uh, yeah, I don't know. I just think Get Out was just one of, I mean, like I said, it's my favorite film of 2017. I just thought it was like almost perfect. And I'm glad that Jordan Peele went with the ending that the audience got to see and not the one that he originally wrote. So,
Yeah, I hated that
yeah.
original ending. Jesus Christ, that depressed the crap out of me. I was just like, ugh.
Yeah, that was oof. I recently had, well, and I always tell people like if you're going to see Get Out, you need to see it twice because you need to see it for the first time without knowing anything, and then you need to see it after you know what you know and realize like everything is so completely calculated. Like nothing is for chance, everything is a show. Like everything is done in such a manipulative way.
I
Because
mean,
I know that some people were like, oh, well, I thought this was too convenient that this was done and stuff, like when they had the pictures in the closet and stuff like that. I'm like, no, that's done on purpose because no one goes into someone's house and just starts snooping right away. You may be curious, but you don't snoop right away, but you do it the second night when you're going to get caught and when they know that that's going to happen. And I don't think a lot of people like, it's kind of like, I don't know, Arrival. I had to explain Arrival to a few people. Arrival was my favorite film of 2016. I know some people who were very mad. It's like, well, I didn't understand. Like, this was dumb and blah blah blah. And I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna be angry because you don't understand. I'm gonna speak calmly to you. Why don't you explain to me what your issue is, and then I'll explain it to you. And then when I explained it to him, it was a completely different movie going experience for him. And then they went and told their friends. I'm like, fine, tell the masses because this is an amazing movie.
I mean, Get Out. The events of Get Out, the events of Get Out scared Chris Washington so much he ran all the way back to Wakanda and joined up with the Black Panther.
See, I know. Look at that.
He was like, well, "White people are crazy. I'm going back to Africa where we got like technology and everyone's like James Bond."
Like, forget this. I'm out.
Yeah, PC out.
Right. Get me a flight on with the TSA and like get me out of here.
Yeah, basically, he had his friend hook him up to a thing with the TSA. He's like, "I'm going back to Wakanda."
Yeah.
I tried living this in America crap for a little while.
Well, and that actor, Daniel, I think Kualua,
I can't pronounce these. Yeah, don't worry.
Kaluuya.
Yeah.
He's in one of my favorite episodes of Black Mirror, 15 Million Merits. So I know he just won a BAFTA for like Rising Star or something like that. And I'm like, hell yeah, you are, because you are making some fine choices and doing some incredible performances. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what else he's going to do in the future. And I hope it's at, the same level and he doesn't do those roles or like, I need to buy a boat. So why don't you give me some crappy movie?
Yeah, let's do Transformers 6 because
Yeah,
Anthony Hopkins
exactly.
clearly needed to buy a boat for Transformers 5.
Yeah, my granddaughter needs a horse, so I'm gonna do Transformers 6.
Jesus Christ, Anthony Hopkins, you're so much better than this. Mark Wahlberg, I at least expect this out of you. The Rock, I would expect this out of you. Uh,
And
what?
that is
I
one of
guess.
those movies.
Oh shit. Well, who's the actor who played Gandhi? He was in Iron Man 3.
Ben Kingsley.
Ben Kingsley wasn't available for piece of shit walk on role in a by a huge actor in a piece of shit movie. So they got Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, I will am well, I'm proud to say I did not see Transformers 3. I actually skipped a number of very bad movies last year, like The Mummy and
Ugh.
Transformers and the Emoji Movie. I'm not sad about that. I had to see some that made my worst of list last year, but
What's funny is
yeah,
Transformers 5 gave us a better movie within the film than we actually got of the film itself. And there's an entire sequence where he talks about Bumblebee teamed up with the World War II Allied forces to take down Hitler. And I'm like, make that movie.
yeah,
Because Bumblebee
I would.
transforms into a Jeep, and he transforms from the Jeep into Bumblebee. He's got Bumblebee's face. And I'm like, what are we getting this year? Oh, we're getting Bumblebee in the 80s where he transforms into a Volkswagen and teams up with a teenage girl to do the Sam Witwicky story all over again, but with a girl this time?
Oh, is that what's coming out this year?
Oh, God, yes. Bumblebee's getting his own goddamn movie. And it's like, does anyone pay... what happened to, like, nobody knowing anything about Transformers until 2007, unless they worked for the secret government organization that John Turturro was part of?
I don't know. Well, I mean, I don't understand how they keep. I mean, it's Hollywood. People have brains. People have original ideas. I don't understand how in a decade's time you have to redo a film that's already been done. But then again, we're also talking about how in 18 years we've had 3 different Spider-Men. So I guess there's that.
Yeah, and every time they
And
take a movie off the blacklist, it
and
turns into the movie starring Jennifer Lawrence and Chris Pine
Pratt,
Helmsworth. Whatever his Star Lord,
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt, which everyone after seeing it went, ooh.
Well, yeah, that's because they should have had the ending at the beginning, or they should have had the beginning, the ending in the middle, or something. They needed to switch those areas around. Like, for it to go the way it did was bad. Yeah, they should have had the middle at the beginning in the middle, and then the ending at the end. That would have been a better movie, and that would have been a movie that people would have probably liked to have seen.
We unfortunately are going to have to hit some time limit on this conversation due to the amount of time it sometimes takes to edit these sort of things. But we should definitely have
Okay.
you back on in the beginning of the summer, Catherine, to talk about the summer blockbuster films of yada 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 through the summer, which would probably be a lot of fun. Considering we'll obviously start with the Avengers: Infinity War, which at that time I should hopefully have my Avengers: Infinity Gauntlet toy, which is a glove that you can actually wear, $99.99 from Marvel Direct.
Well, stop. Now you're making me jealous. Now I know what I want on my Christmas list for the middle. My goodness.
Yeah,
My birthday's in July, so maybe I'll ask for a little present early.
the power of a god, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Where can people find more information about you, Catherine, before the next time you come back on?
Well, I post regularly on Facebook and Instagram, which are both the Blonde in Front, blonde with an E, the Blonde in Front. And I have my blog, which has my writings from World of Death and Greek Nerdery on it, which is www.theblondeinfront.com. And I always have my video reviews on YouTube for The Blonde in Front.
Awesome. Well, we really appreciate you taking some time to come on the show to gossip a little bit with us about the Oscars and then our ridiculous rant about Lifetime movies and other great things happening in the world of horror, science fiction, and fantasy.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. And I look forward to speaking with you again this summer and having more fun.